Now let's do the database part of the image set. And this is going to be the thing that includes the relationship to the original image, the page image, and the thumbnail, as well as metadata about the image set, including who created it, when it was created, and sharing access privileges. So I'm going to go ahead and go to localhost and phpMyAdmin. And then I'm going to go to the share database, and I'm going to create a new table, and I'll call this image set. Now I have images and users, so I'll call this image sets for consistency. And let's count fields. So I have an ID, which is going to be auto increment, owner, whether it's public or private, so sharing, time it was created, the ID of the full original image, ID of the page size image, ID of the thumbnail. And I think that should be it for now. Oh, the file name, want to keep that as well. So let's start with that. So that's 8 columns I was counting. And we'll create an image set ID, which is integer. And let's go ahead and make that auto increment. So it's going to be the primary key. Then owner. And this should match what I have in the users table. So I'm going to duplicate. Actually, I'm going to right-click on that and open in a new tab. And then I'm going to go to the users table and look at the structure. So the username is varchar64, and that's the primary key. So this is going to be a foreign key with the username, varchar64. And then I want to have the time when this thing was created. So let's call this time. And then I have a couple of choices. So I have under date and time, I can either use date or date time. And these are just regular values that get saved in the database the same way as any other values. So for example, in my insert statement or my update statement, I would include a date or a date time, and whatever I included would be stored in that column. Or I can use a timestamp, which has a slightly smaller range, but timestamps are automatically set every time the record is changed. So if I insert a new row or I update a row, the timestamp value will get updated to the current timestamp. And that's actually what I want here. So I'm going to select that. Then I want the file name. And let's make that a varchar as well. And that used to be over here in the images table. Go to structure. So that used to be varchar 256, so I'll make that varchar 256 here as well. But then I'm going to drop that column from the image table because I'm not going to need that anymore. So there's a delete button right here. Alter table images drop name. Okay. And it has to actually change the file that the database has, so it takes a little while. So I have file name, and I'm going to call that name to be consistent with what I had before. And then I'll have the sharing, and I'm going to make this be a varchar as well, just a short one though. And right now I only plan to have public or private, but I could add additional access levels later on. So I'm going to keep this short. I'll just make it 16 characters. And then I need the IDs. So the primary key in the image table is an int with a default size of 11. I'm going to use ints for these three columns as well. So the first is the original ID, and then page ID, let's call it original image ID, and page image ID, and finally thumbnail image ID. So that should be everything. I'm going to go ahead and save the table. And so here's my new ImageSets table. Now I'm going to go ahead and also create some constants in my shared database. So here's the ImageSets table. And I have the, let me just squish this down a little bit so I can see both things at the same time. There we go. Okay, so I have image set ID key is image set ID, and owner key is owner, time key name key, sharing key, original image ID key, and page image ID key, and thumbnail image ID key. And then I want to create a couple of values for the sharing levels. So we'll call this and actually these are going to live on the image class, not on the image, not on the shared database. So that's analogous to what I did with users. So, the actual roles are stored in the user class. The role key is here, but user and verified are stored over in the user class. So I'm going to do the same thing with sharing levels. And I think that's all I need for now. So let's just go ahead and I'll stub in the ImageSets class. This time it is singular to match user.php and image.php. And then I'll define const sharing private and sharing public as my two access levels right now.